Hello and welcome to the We Are Birmingham podcast. I'm Chris Golding.
I'm Matthew Elliott.
And as ever, we're joined by the vegan. Good evening, Dave. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, guys.
Been worse. Been very, very busy lately, which with the football season getting into, football pre-season getting into full swing and all the transfer gossip and rumours and the constant buzzing of the phone going for everything that's going on. I've had no time to myself, essentially. What about you guys?
Well, it looks like you've had time to get a huge flag. Tell us about your huge flag.
We are Birmingham. So we've got a football tournament coming up in a few weeks for the Blues supporters team. It's called WorldNet in Doncaster. Good weekend away. The football is we won a plate there a few years ago, not a food plate, an actual award plate thingy trophy. We're off to Doncaster, but it's more about having a couple of nights out in Doncaster. I'm not going to lie, the football does come second fiddle at WorldNet, but we're going up there. We've got a gazebo going, so we're going to hang the We Are Birmingham flag off it, and then obviously we'll be able to take it to matches and pubs and stuff in due course. So that's what it's for. But it's also a handy backdrop for me. So interesting conversation to start about
Flag chat.
Flag wankers. Flag wankers. What about you guys? What have you been up to?
I'm on my own. Listen, can you hear that? Nothing. Yeah, so
no dog?
Well, the dog is here. The dogs are here.
Dogs now, I forgot.
Yeah, they're quiet enough at the moment. Yeah, my lot are down in Galway on holiday with my other half's family, so they're gone glamping. Lovely. Look like having a good time. But it's very, very, very quiet here. It's eerily so that I am hearing every sound in the house that I wouldn't normally hear. It's a little bit unnerving at times. I'm not going to lie. It's just it's a bit strange and a bit creepy. And I am now. They went Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. Anyway, they've been away a few days now. I'm probably ready for them to come back because I am starting to miss them. I'll probably regret that half an hour after they walk through the door. But yeah,
as soon as it's back to normal.
But I've been using it to get some bits done around the house, and I've been out on the road more than I normally would do this week, which has been good, but also it'll leave me a lot to do when I'm actually back in this office on Friday to actually catch up on work and stuff. So yeah, it's been an interesting week, I guess, so far. Dave?
Yeah, I've been up to an awful lot, really. Gigs here and there. Been at Silverstone ahead of the Grand Prix, working there, doing bits and pieces, building up to working at the election night as well, which will probably have been and gone by the time this comes out anyway. And managed to rip the nail off my index finger on my right hand, which hurt like fucking crazy.
Have a look.
How did you do that?
It's really boring. On key rings, you get the little metal key rings. I was adjusting a key ring on something, and it snapped back and ripped my nail off, stuck it into my finger, blood everywhere. And that's what happens if you try gardening. Basically, it was a gardening related injury, so nothing to be had from gardening or gardens.
With a key ring.
It's a strap on. It's
a strap on. What?
No,
what sort of gardening were you doing?
I'm going to cut all this bit. So it was a key ring on something which was for the garden, and it just ripped my nail off. So
it's a strap on.
What happens in your house? What happens in your house, Chris? Stays in your house.
There's no strap-ons here. So, moving on. Euro sweepstake. we're all out. Little
Yes.
update.
I forgot about that until this afternoon. Even though I watched the Austria-Turkey game yesterday, which was very good actually, and I actually didn't even click until this afternoon. But hey,
Euro 2024 winners Austria are out.
yes. yeah,
Euro
they're out.
2024 winners Croatia are out. And Slovakia are out. Dave, just about. England got over the line. We're
Yeah,
better
I was gonna
team
say
for
it was a-
3 minutes.
I was hoping we'd progress through my new adopted nation, but Jude had to ruin it, didn't he? For everyone. Well, for me. Well, say everyone for me.
Damn that kid.
Yeah.
People that are still left in: Anthony Sale with Netherlands, Carl McNally with England, Chris O'Brien with France, Craig Oates with Slovenia, Harry Parker with Germany, Jack Stiles with Romania. Have I done that wrong?
No, Romania are out.
Yeah, I've done that wrong. Who's still in? I've crossed some of these out.
This is about as successful as the actual launch, wasn't it?
This is great, isn't it? Yeah. At least this is actually working, though.
Got 2 years to sort it out for the next one, at least.
Well, Romania are out. I realised that as I'd said it. I can't even remember. Who's got knocked out that I've kept in? Anyway, yeah. Some people are left in. Some people are out. There you go. How's that? And if you're still in, congratulations. Oh, this is going to go well, isn't it, tonight? Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks. What's been going on?
It has been a few weeks.
What have Blues been doing? There's been action. There's been revolt. There's been...
Right. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is the end of season review that was put out. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to sit down and go through it. You have?
Yep.
What did you think? First thoughts?
So...
Maybe we should explain what it was, actually, for people that haven't seen it.
I think step back a minute, because I think this is the point I think that I was gonna make. So very well done. So when the club put this out on social media, there wasn't really any context around it. So naturally, when you put out a season review, the first thought for most people was, I'm not going to fucking watch that or read that. We got relegated, right? Which I think probably everybody for a split second thinks like that. It doesn't take more than a second to click on the link and have a look to see that it's actually a little bit more robust than that. It's about all the progress they've made off the pitch as well. In fact, there wasn't that much on the pitch stuff in there, and I don't blame them. It was all the progress.
Not a lot to say, was there? Let's be honest.
No, I think Dave said earlier on when we were offline, it's kind of like one of those business reviews that goes out to all shareholders and stakeholders, and that's what it did feel a bit like that. Also felt a bit like it was more showcasing to people outside of the club as opposed to people attached to the club. If you know what I mean, it was almost like using as a set for me, like a selling point or a way of promoting the club to, investors or
It's an investor coffee table book. It's the sort of thing which you see on coffee tables of meeting rooms and it was really well done. Let's say, it looked great, full of great detail.
Yeah.
Probably started way before all the shit hit the fan and realised we're going down. So logical to finish it, obviously. I'm just not sure it needed to, be on Facebook. Absolutely no issue it existing as a document. But like you said,
it was just the amount of people that were commenting on it without even reading it, though, as well. That's what annoyed me. If they'd actually had a quick look to see what it was.
But that's half the problem, that they're not going to. Of course they're not going to. And that's the issue with it. Great document, wrong audience, I thought.
That's life now, though. Don't forget, like social media is like that. So much so that Twitter had to put a thing in that when you comment on something and you haven't clicked on the link, it pops up and it says, "Do you want to read this first?"
Yeah.
Because people just don't. They're like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
But that's why you got to have the forethought about what's going to happen when you put a document out like that. So, you know, I don't mind it existing at all. I think it's good that it exists. It showcases some brilliant things that the club has done. Let's just not show it to fucking Facebook.
Twitter.
Yeah. It was.
Oh, it's almost as bad now, isn't it? You're not calling it X yet. You're not calling it X yet. You're still refusing.
It was very well done. I think I'm pretty sure that Colin Tatum was involved in putting it together.
Yeah,
he put
a long Twitter thread, X thread out about it.
It's still Twitter, still Twitter to me, or TwitX. You know, you call it TwitX.
Yeah, he put a great thread out all about it. Like I said, will look good printed out on business corporate coffee tables and reception areas.
I'm not sure there was any need for like the Theodore Roosevelt quote in there though, from God knows when. I don't know if anyone got to that point. It just felt
like you're making this up now.
It was.
You could have said like,
didn't make it to the end. I know it was definitely near the end somewhere. It might have even been like the last page of any like significant writing on it. But
could have said Star Wars quote or something. I would have believed you.
Yes. Oh, if I'd been writing it instead of Colin Tatum, then there would have been a Star Wars quote at the end, wouldn't there? Not.
Please tell me you do that with your day-to-day work, that you try and shoehorn quotes from...
I do try. I do. Well, what I do or do not. There is no try.
What about the £50 voucher that's hidden in there? Cut this out. £50 club shop voucher.
You have to make sure that people have read all the way through before they get to it. Yeah.
See, I have read it.
Yeah.
But is it worth your time? I mean, how long did it take you to sit and read it? 15 minutes? 10 minutes?
There's about 40 pages or something, I think. And I mean, I might be wrong. It might be a little bit more than that. Might be between 40 and 50 pages, we'll say, including the Theodore Roosevelt quote. And some nice glossy pictures.
It was probably on screen as well.
There was a couple of little bits that I already we already knew about. So I skipped over the first team stuff and the women's team stuff. We've said before, and it's nothing against the women's team. I don't take a lot of interest in it. I hope they do well, but I kind of just flicked through that very, very quickly. I read a little bit about Hope Powell and stuff like that, but I'd say it probably took about half an hour on and off with other stuff that I was doing. So I'd kind of broke it up with
having a wine.
Bits I was doing. And yeah, I mean, what day was it? Yeah, probably. Did it have a wine in it? Yes, I was. Sorry, yeah.
So is it worth taking that 20 minutes, half an hour to have a look through it?
I think there'll be some people out there that don't pay that much attention to anything outside of what happens on the pitch and the occasional little bit on social media. Some people don't even really use social media that much, so they miss out on quite a lot. Mm-hmm. I think it probably is a useful tool if you want, or it would be good for people to read that maybe are still in the headspace of feeling a little bit disappointed about being relegated and a little bit in that sort of headspace and aren't really seeing the positivity of the new owners. So certainly, again, ones that aren't seeing this stuff that's being broadcast left, right and centre on different media channels. I think it's definitely worth having a look at it just to see what they're doing. And then I think there's a big thing in there, statement from Tom Wagner as well, just saying like everything we're doing now is going to help increase. It was all to do with the city, like they've sort of embedding themselves in the city and stuff like that as well. So it's going to make a big difference in that respect as well. So I think it definitely is worth people having a look at it and at least skimming through. I don't know if they're doing hard copies of it. I assume they're not, because places don't really do that many hard copies these days, do they? So
no, I suppose it's maybe the type of thing that you would have sent out in season ticket packs, but by then it's like looking ahead rather than looking back. Yeah. So I'm not sure that there is. I mean, they might, like you said, they might have a few that they have in and around St Andrews and stuff to show potential corporate people around.
You say the mention about the season ticket packs. It probably wouldn't be a good idea to put something in. I mean, maybe I don't know if they've sent them out yet. I don't think they have they? To have something along those lines going out to season ticket holders to give. I'm not saying the full pack, but significant bits in there just to show that this is what we've done so far. This is what we intend to do this far, and with your support for the rest of the season, etc., we can achieve X, Y, and Z. So, it's. I do like the document. I do think people need to actually look at it and not start slagging it off.
I do like documents.
And not slag it off, because I just think it's we got relegated, and I don't want to see us losing to or drawing 0-0 with Rotherham and stuff like that. Look beyond the stuff that happened on the pitch, because that was just a very small percentage of what happened last season.
I reckon that probably for a few people compounded the whole thing about the fixtures for this season coming up as well. That all of a sudden there's this end of season review that's out. It's we were relegated, and then was it a few days later the fixtures came out, and it was now we've got Crawley, Fleetwood, whoever. I don't know who the fuck we're playing. I haven't been through it, but
you're looking at a list trying to work out where these places are for the first time, realising you've no idea how to get to half of them. You didn't even know half of them existed.
I don't know who's in the league. No. Let's just say Wrexham, because we know that they're in the league, which we'll come on to shortly.
Yeah, and you don't even, and that's got to be, the one you dislike the most because you hate Wales.
I hate Wales, the animals.
All right, okay.
Yeah, God, duh.
Not just the place and all its people.
Yeah. My missus is Welsh.
You hate her too.
Wow. She's all right sometimes. Not when she interrupts the podcast, though, coming to try and get involved. Hi. She doesn't speak like that.
She says it in Welsh.
Sounds well, actually, the stupid thing is, so one of the teams that we are going to visit, Shrewsbury, that's where she's from. So she sounds a bit like a farmer girl, but she hates me for saying that. Anyway, Wrexham. Let's move on. I am going to give that end of season review a chance, though. I'm going to find it.
Have a look at it, and we'll give you a test next week.
Okay.
Me and Matthew will come up with 5 questions each.
What page was the £50 voucher on? It was on page 12. So let's move on.
Yes.
The other thing that happened while we've been away, I think last week, was touching on whether Wrexham and Blues could play their fixture in the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go down very well with supporters.
Naturally.
Me, as much as anyone. For me, that's... So first of all, it came out in the press, didn't it, that it had been put to the EFL whether the fixture between Blues and Wrexham could be played in America. Then was it then Ryan Reynolds said we didn't have a conversation, or there was no conversation or something. I can't remember the exact wording of it. So
yeah, there
everyone's
was no discussion or something. That's because yeah.
Everyone's gone. From one side, it's like this can't happen, this can't happen, this can't happen, to then Ryan Reynolds saying that his piece, making his comment, and then the needle swung back the other way.
And the media just made it up. The media just made it up for clicks.
I think that the truth is that there was a conversation from Blues' side.
Maybe not between Blues and Wrexham, but probably somebody at Blues floating the idea
sounding it out. Yeah,
someone at the EFL saying, if we were to apply to do this, would you... and that's probably as far as it went. I mean, do I agree with it? No. I can understand them doing it. I don't think that actually we're anywhere near the right time to be looking at doing stuff like that. There's a lot more we should be concentrating on at the moment. There are other ways to increase the brand, improve the brand. To put in 2 League One teams, like it just, even with the Tom Brady, Ryan Reynolds stuff, for me, it's just, it may have just been a lie they wanted to float, but when they came in, they wanted to talk about respecting the tradition of the club and the game over here, etc. That isn't doing that. Okay, Now it may have only just been, let's just ask just to see. But for me, like it's certainly don't agree with it. It's not. It tainted things a little bit for me, because things, apart from relegation, things have been going pretty well, and it just didn't. It felt like a step back.
One of the big things that we've said as fans, one of the things that I've said massively on the podcast, is that Tom Wagner has always seemed, since he's become involved with Blues, he seemed like he's got us, like he understands us. Now, if that conversation was had and he was anything to do with it, that's the first time that I feel that there's that little, just a slight disconnect with how fans might be feeling and what they might want.
That's exactly, because the disconnect. That is the right thing. He hasn't.
That's not to say that we're not grateful for everything else, because we are. Like, the stuff that they're doing is fantastic, but
they can't be absolved for criticism for stuff. They've made mistakes. They said they would make mistakes again in the future, and that's fine. This I consider to be a mistake. In the future, like when we get to the Premier League and the Premier League start doing stuff like that, then obviously it sounds like a great idea. We've got, as we start building the fan base with the inclusion of...
Sorry, I'm just going to stop you there. I don't think it does sound like a good idea. I think it sounds like a shit idea for football.
But that's at some point that is going to happen in the Premier League. I think that's where things are moving.
It will go that way. It will, but
at least one game a season or something along those lines. Or maybe they'll start doing cup games over there. That probably makes a little bit more sense. We've got quite a big journey to go on. We're in League One. There are opportunities for us to go and do tours of the States and play teams over there. Use the Tom Brady connection to do promotion. Do a tour around some places in America, some of the MLS teams, or maybe bringing in teams from Europe or the Premier League or Wrexham, and do stuff that way. You can promote yourself pre-season quite easily. You don't need to interfere with the league campaign.
Exactly that. So Wrexham last season went over there, and to me they did it the right way. They played a few teams over there, Man United and Chelsea, was it that they played both of them, and a couple of American teams as well, and they got decent crowds, decent draw, which they would do because there's been this program about them. Now, we haven't had the benefit of supporters in America seeing us on TV every week because of a TV program. So that audience automatically isn't there. Yes, we've got new reach because of what's happened with Brady, and the word has spread out there a little bit, but not that same coverage of people maybe wanting to go, oh yeah, I want to go and watch a game, because that hasn't been documented in the same way, which someone's missed out on a trick there. We say it time and time again, but with all the shit that's gone on, it would have made an absolute fucking belting TV show. But we haven't got that. So, like you've just said, if they want to do something, go to the EFL and say, okay, can we have an EFL tournament in pre-season in America, and we'll invite maybe 2 American teams to join us, and we'll have 4 EFL teams, and they can be from across the league, and we'll go over there and we'll play this tournament, a league if you like, over there, do a little tour of America, try and get some exposure over there, and that type of thing I think would work. And whether they've heard Blues fans saying, "Oh, pre-season in America, yeah, that'd be mint." Then we've gone to Austria. I was going to say Australia. Then we've gone to Austria, and they're a bit Blues fans are a bit disappointed, and they're like, "Well, let's do a league game out there," and it's like, no. Pre-season, yes. Don't take the tradition away. That's my thoughts on it.
There's probably an element of that. I think a few weeks ago now, isn't it? So a couple of weeks ago now, it's I think it's like sort of died down, and obviously the announcement today about moving the game to, is it Monday night 8:00 or something? They've moved it to
in Dallas, apparently.
Is it? Very good. So obviously that game was always getting moved anyway, wasn't it? I think for TV it's
actually still a 3:00 kickoff, you know.
Is it? I thought it was 8.
It's in Dallas.
Oh, very good. What was it, 8 p.m. on a Monday night, is it? I don't know if it's, because I just saw that Ed moved it, and I just assumed, I just saw you put it in the group that they've moved it to America, and then I just thought, right, that's a lie. But I got to see the TV.
I was only joking then.
Speaking of TV, I got very confused. So last night, the first time I realised that obviously our game against Reading, which booked my ferry for, so I'm coming over for that first game of the season, looking forward to it, after originally booking my ferry for the week after, because I'd synced up with Villa's fixtures, thinking
Shall we talk about that now?
We can do if you want.
What about your ferry?
No, not about his ferry. Sorry, finish the ferry story.
Finish the ferry story.
Oh, so I'd obviously, when I saw
the fairy tale, as you will.
The fairy tale, the Premier League fixtures come out, I made the assumption that when Villa were going to be at home would be away, vice versa. So,
as a lot of people did.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody did. So I naturally booked my ferry nice and early for the week after, when then turned out we were away at Wickham. I'm like, so that's fine, but yeah. But anyway, he managed to.
It's amazing
my
for all of
my customers.
It's amazing all those customers to demand that you rescheduled. Will you schedule your for the following week?
Some of them I told the truth to and just said, "Look, this is what's happened. Do you mind?" And then others I was just a little bit more like, "This." I've had to move things for family commitments, and they were okay. And then work.
It is a family commitment. It is like a big family, isn't it?
The Blues.
It's a big family, and it's a commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. The company were fine with it as well. So it wasn't. I was just sweating a little bit because I was very much looking forward to it.
What commitment that is from you. Commendable.
And my customers, thanks very much for moving all the appointments.
So
you got to give away a load more free merch, a load more blue, and a load more red bouncy balls for all your customers.
And pens and gummy bears.
They are good pens. They're really good pens.
Can I have a pen?
Everyone loves the pens. I'll bring you some pens when I come over. I have them in my boot anyway.
So anyway, when you are over here for the Reading game, it's obviously a 5:30 kickoff. We're meeting up, and we had a little conversation, and we said, shall we invite listeners of the podcast to come and join us for a beer, because we're going to go out. We're going to take this big flag and stick it up in a pub somewhere, or multiple pubs on a crawl around town, and invite people to come and have a beer with us, chat to us. Maybe we'll do some videos and do it. What did you call it?
We are Birmingham.
We are
Birmingham.
That just sounds like you're doing a terrible accent. We are Birmingham.
We are Birmingham.
We're doing it in Jamaica.
We are Birmingham.
Right.
We are Birmingham Pubcast.
Pubcast.
Yeah.
Have you got like are you going to bring like one of those red ropes where we open, a little rope for you to stand behind so people can come and meet you and shake your hand, Chris?
No,
little cue.
No.
No.
So this isn't. No, this is we're going out.
Chris Golding.
No. This is we're going out I'm very approachable, by the way. This is.
I thought you previously said that you don't want any more friends. Hang on. You in a previous podcast,
Arm's length, you
said.
said. Arm's length.
You said that you had enough friends. You didn't want anyone to come and talk to you at the football, and yet
You said that. I said I'm very approachable. Anyway, we're going on the piss anyway before going to the game because it's a late kickoff. So why not invite people to come and say hi, have a beer with us, have a chat with us? It'd be nice to meet people that listen. So why not?
Yeah, it's
And
not like
ultimately, it
thing,
might just be us three.
Yeah.
So-
But well, yeah, and if we bounce from pub to pub or whatever, then we could keep people updated on social media anyway to let people know where we are.
We are. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you do see us, come and say hi, have a beer with us, have a chat,
I think,
and then we'll put the we are
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
We are Birmingham podcast, man.
The we are. It sounded much better on text, didn't it?
Yeah.
We are. We are Birmingham Pubcast.
There you go.
Come and say hi, get involved, have a chat, have a beer.
Dave, I think I'm travelling up with you in the morning that day. So you mean
No, he's not committed yet. He's just said he's not committed.
At least he'll be travelling with me. So
I'll drop you off somewhere, and just go hang out with the other friends. No, I won't. Joking.
Your other friends?
I've very quickly downloaded that document, the one we were talking about previously. 48 pages.
You've read it.
I haven't read it all, but I've looked at the pictures. Nice design as well. Chris, very quickly, and Matthew, take a guess. How many times is Rooney mentioned in a 48-page document?
I'm
Not
going to
once.
say one or none.
Well, what you've done here is a classic thing of estimating far too low for any comedic effect. You needed more than that. No, Matthew?
We hired him. We did an open house. We fired him 3.
You've counted this already, haven't you? It is 3.
There you go.
Yeah. Is that the mentions as well?
Yeah, 3 mentions that, and in the second mention, it's just above a spelling mistake. But we don't have to go into that.
So after weeks of people moaning and tweeting the club, every notification, every post the club put out about sign somebody, we've had a few signings. 2 of them goalkeepers, but we've had it.
Well, it's probably worth mentioning first that Duke has signed his contract as expected,
as well, yeah.
as we thought. John Ruddy hasn't and has left the club.
On to Newcastle.
Did not see that coming. He's done well there, hasn't he?
It's not even third choice at the moment, is it? They've signed 2 goalkeepers that week. This week, I think. So yeah, the Premier League is weird for goalkeeping. Nothing like the Scott Carson, Tom Heaton, Darren Randolph was Bournemouth's number 3 last season, and they just love an old goalkeeper as a number 3 for some reason, or 4, or 5.
Or 5. I mean, fuck knows how he's managed that one. It must be because it's closer to home as well, I suppose.
Do you know what? I don't really focus too much on John Ruddy, but you would have thought at his age that he would want to continue playing, because he's still a very capable goalkeeper in a team that plays a certain way, not a team that plays out from the back. Because fundamentally, he's a very, very good goalkeeper.
Still
Newcastle,
very capable at kicking balls in strange directions.
Well, there is that, yeah.
He did say in certain teams.
Yeah.
So
commanded the box, shot stopping, stuff like that. As an actual just sort of basic goalkeeping, absolutely fine and more than capable. Number 1 in the Championship for me. It's obviously money related because they they must be paying him a king's ransom to be like, not even sit on the bench basically up there.
And do you know what? I don't see the issue with it.
I mean, no, I don't either. But he, on that podcast, he mentioned to Ben Foster about being away from his family for when he had to think about that for a while, because he didn't want to uproot his family, and maybe it was time he moved a little bit closer, and he just got further away.
But maybe he's got a private jet now. Or a helicopter.
Maybe he can afford one on the Newcastle wages. So anyway, let's stop about talking about John Ruddy, and we've got two new goalkeepers.
We have
the first one being Ryan Alsop, who came in from Hull.
Blues fan.
Blues fan, yes. Also friends with some parents from our local school, which I found very bizarre.
Yeah, it was a weird connection.
It was a very, very weird connection, yeah. So how do we feel about Alsop? Because as a goalkeeper, we just spoke about Ruddy having the basics, the fundamentals of goalkeeping, being very capable. I don't really see that in Brian Alsop.
It seems very much like the reverse, the opposite.
It's exactly that, isn't it? It's the negative of if he was a photo of John Ruddy.
If he was a photo.
But, and I get that, and it will change the dynamic of the way we play. We can play 10, 15, 20 yards further up the pitch because, you know, he can actually act as as a sweeper, and it kind of helps with the press and stuff like that as well. So that's
Rooney actually said that he was his playmaker.
From Derby, and that podcast type thing that he did with Gary Neville and stuff.
Yeah.
So I get it from that point of view. I'm not over enthused about his actual goalkeeping, but I get it. I do get it.
Are we? So hopefully we're not going to be facing an awful lot of shots. So he's not going to be busy.
Shots.
No shots.
No shots.
No shots against. No goals. Against.
No shots.
100 goals.
Actually, one
scored.
goal, probably a pass back that he's misread and just rolled under his foot, or not been paying attention. I can see that.
I'm not having that. I'm not having it.
It's probably going to happen,
Not having it.
But yeah, you'd hope he isn't going to be that busy, wouldn't you? from that point of view.
You would, and I think there's got to be an element of that in mind. Hopefully, fits in well with what they're trying to. If you've got someone at the back, and you're trying to get a team that can pass the ball, move the ball around, to have someone who's very, very confident moving the ball around there, it's going to set you in good stead.
It's vitally important, isn't it?
It is.
The way we want to try and expand our brand of football, it's important that we brought in a goalkeeper like that, at least one.
And let's be honest, Hull finished just outside the playoffs, so just missed out. We've taken their keeper. Granted, he was available.
Mm-hmm.
But there were other championship sides that were looking at him, and we've got it done. So, for me, it's decent business, and followed up shortly after by getting another keeper in as well. It's sort of that position that could have been a problem isn't a problem.
Yeah, I mean, from you mentioned about the other championship teams he's been in from. I think he had a bit of interest. He mentioned as well. I think obviously being a Blues fan was quite a big deal. Had a chance to play for the club that he supported as a boy. 3-year contract as well. I'm not sure you would have got many teams offering him a 3-year contract. So, and I think the natural assumption was when we signed that he'd be. At least the assumption for a lot of people was he was going to be first choice. Always thought we'd buy probably, and I think you'd said the same, that would probably go for 2 very, very good quality starters, or what they consider quality starters, and then just battle it out. Which brings us on to Northern Ireland international Bradley Peacock Farrell, who Bailey Peacock Farrell. So I was thinking of Bradley Mayo for a second then, who is also on the books. Bailey Peacock Farrell, who again not super over enthused by as a goalkeeper, but as you know, using his hands, we'll say, but better than Allsop. Using his feet. Now, I don't recall seeing him using his feet that much, but obviously he's played in Bielsa's Leeds team. He played. Did he play in Vincent Kompany's Burnley team as well for a little while? So
the handful of games at Burnley.
Yeah. So he's obviously got the ability
to
do that.
It probably was him.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. I think we probably, for all I've just said there, I think we probably have upgraded the goalkeeping department in line with what we want to do as with regards to brand of football. So, yeah, what do you think? How do you feel about them both?
What was it that we said before? I'm whelmed. Not
whelmed.
Overwhelmed, not underwhelmed. I'm whelmed. I'm just like, I'm there.
Not underwhelmed.
I think that
just whelmed.
Just whelmed. And I think it's because for where we are, I think they're two good options. We've got to remember that we've dropped down a league, so we are shopping in a different market. We've still competed with Championship clubs to get Allsop in. We've got Bailey Peacock Farrell, and I think we've got two keepers who can do a decent job. Now, where I think they might excel, and so you said about Peacock Farrell at Leeds. That's the only place that I remember really seeing him, and I was really impressed with him there. And then he got his move to Burnley, and he just seemed to vanish a little bit. He went to League One with Sheffield Wednesday, and then went abroad.
Did all right with Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday fans quite liked him. Northern Ireland fans really like him as well, to be fair, I have to say. So,
yeah, he's rated there.
But, it's going to be an interesting battle between the two, because I don't think...
You'd know, wouldn't you? He's your keeper in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, adopted, obviously.
I think that it's actually going to give them... I think that the competition between the two of them might help them set a standard between them, to know that there's that competition there, that it'll improve your game, because you know that someone's always waiting for that opportunity to come in. And I think that will improve them both as keepers.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way that you see a lot of Premier League teams have been going with having these two first choice goalkeepers to try and push each other on. It's probably, you do it everywhere else on the pitch, don't you? So why have we only just started doing this now? I guess, but I guess with goalkeeping it's a more specialised position. But I'm interested to see how it plays out, because I think the assumption is from a lot of people. Some people think about it's going to be Peacock Farrell, other people think it's going to be Allsop, but I honestly don't know. I think I'd probably lean.
Did you nearly say Bradley again then?
I said Peacock Farrell.
I thought you were going to say Bradley again. I can't say Peacock Farrell, and you keep saying Bradley.
You just did it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. They've got a number of games, obviously, and then obviously training, etc. I couldn't make the call now. I think we'd have to see what they do and make our predictions once we've seen the friendlies, and then probably get it wrong. So.
That's how they've got to face it as well. I think as a club they need to look at both of these, give them both an equal opportunity all through pre-season. Right, it's up for grabs. Who's going to start the season there?
I think I think if you were to lean anywhere now, if you were, where would you go? Because I think I'd probably lean more to Bailey, Peacock, Farrell, because I just think he's got a little bit more of command around his box from an aerial point of view as well. And there are going to be those teams like Rotherham, etc., that are going to just bomb the box. And there's going to be a number of those types of teams. So for me, I think I'd lean that way because I don't see Allsop as being as commanding in the air.
Interesting. I'm the opposite. So I think that they're going to... I know that this might change over pre-season and how they both do. But I think they might go Allsop more for the fact of how good he is.
On the deck.
Yeah, with the ball. Because we're going to want to set our stall out and take the game to other teams. And the best way of doing that is if you've got someone right at the back that can start
I
that
agree.
and
I
push
know
on.
where you're coming from.
But it's
It'll be
really interesting.
It's going to be an interesting battle, yeah. Because it's not
really
like...
interesting.
It's not like during a game, you can, if they're having a bad game, it's like you don't normally sub them off and bring someone on. Well, actually, if someone's,
not unless they're having a right stinker.
Yeah, it has to be a really, 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 really bad game. It's a little bit. There's a little bit more flexibility when you've got outfield, when you've got players everywhere else on the pitch. So no, I'm intrigued. And then Alfie May, which was announced yesterday.
Alfie May or may not.
Alfie did.
Alfie did.
Alfie did. Alfie's here. And happy birthday, Alfie May, who will not listen to this podcast. So it is his birthday today, isn't it? Yeah, he's
Are you going to sing it to him?
I'm not going to sing, no.
Oh.
You can sing if you want.
No. You used to sing, didn't you?
I'm not sure Matthew was known for his renditions of Happy Birthday.
Oh,
no.
Can you do a screamo version of it?
Probably, if you really wanted to. I'm not doing it now. Maybe at the Reading game, karaoke in the evening after the Reading game when the...
Yeah, come and meet Matthew before the game at the Reading game, where he will sing you Happy Birthday in your chosen style.
Only if it's your birthday.
In pig squeal.
So it was one of them where the first that we heard about him coming to Blues was Huddersfield were getting it done, and you went, I'm really disappointed. We should be in for that.
Yeah.
And then we were.
Yeah, because we had that conversation, because I was like, even at his age, like, and I put this on Twitter already, so apologies for that. Like, for me, it was just made sense to go out and get him. The last three...
A no-brainer, if you were.
A Craigie no-brainer. The last three seasons, he's been like the top goal scorer. He's almost got like 70 goals or something across the 3 seasons. Obviously, he's a late starter to the league. He came in via non-league, didn't he, as well? And I think Doncaster signed him from non-league. Yeah, I'm really... because I know we're going to sign another striker, I don't...
Comfortable.
I don't...
You're comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable, yeah. And also it takes the pressure off a little bit as well when we go out and fight, because we've got someone now that we know is going to score goals, because we're going to create chances. And a lot of his chances, a lot of goals he's scored has been in struggling teams. Cheltenham finished down the bottom twice, and Charlton were like 15th or 16th last season, and he scores.
We actually shared a tweet yesterday on the We Are Birmingham account of a lad who'd analysed every goal.
It's really good, that thread, yeah.
And
he does some really good threads, actually.
Different types of goals, the different
That's
ways
the important thing as well.
Yeah,
he scores from anywhere, everywhere. You know, he's got his movement is great.
Yeah,
it looks like he can play just off the striker as well. Maybe it's out wide. So, what
sort of struck me from them as well is that he's not particularly quick, but he's so clever with his movement. Like he's not rapid, but he's so clever with his movement that he looks very fast at getting at people.
Yeah, I think it's quickness rather than speed, isn't it? So you've just got that element of thought that you can make that move, get yourself into a position. But it's such a mix of goals, and he's a good penalty taker as well. So I think he scored a fair 9 or 10 penalties over the past. I think he's only missed one potentially.
So is Cristiano Ronaldo. By the way.
Do you remember the first time you saw Alfie May live?
No, go on.
You can't remember. It was a special moment, Chris.
Was it Jude's Charlton away?
No,
it wouldn't have been Charlton. Special moment.
Shall I help you out?
Go on.
So remember when, I think it must have been when my lot had moved, and I had moved over here when I was still in England, and we went to watch Blues versus Doncaster at Solihull Moors.
And he played in that?
That was our first game that we watched together. So we had a coffee behind the goal. I think Shea Adams scored the winner in that game from memory, but Alfie May had a man bun, and you were taking the piss out. You were taking the piss out of him. I don't know why I remember this stuff. It's fucking pointless stuff. Like I've struggled to remember my daughter's birthdays. I've got them tattooed on me, and yet I remember shit like this. Yeah, and you were taking the piss out of this man.
Have you got Alfie May in a man bun tattooed on you?
I think he was playing on the wing in that game.
Have you got him tattooed on you?
I have, yeah, on my chest. I'm his biggest fan.
So, can I just say, even if I had hair, I wouldn't have a man bun.
No, neither would I. So
I know you do sometimes, vegan. Yeah, you've got lovely hair.
Just fucking
people
jealous.
comment out. I'm not jealous.
You wait till you go to Turkey or something. You'll come back. We'll pay for you to go and get a hair transplant. You can have some of my hair as a from a hair transplant. Golden
I
with a full
I
set
just
of hair.
distinctly remember you taking the piss out of him because he had a man bun, and now he's got like curtains, like he's a front man of a 90s indie band from Manchester.
I was kind of a little thrown of how much that hair he looked like Grealish. If you look,
there's a little element of that, but he just looks like he was well into the Manchester music scene or something.
Straight from straight from a kind of audition to be in A1 or something, or one of the Z tier boy bands from the 90s.
Oh yeah.
He just needs a baggy Timberland jumper. Some stonewashed jeans.
It's quite funny. But yeah, it came. I was thinking about it yesterday because I was like, I've seen him play for Doncaster. So yeah, that was the first game that me and Chris actually went to watch.
Well, it's good to know how much Chris has scrubbed that from his memory.
Coffee and a Kit Kat, Chris. That's what I had.
I can't.
Cheap days. Cheap days.
Shea Adams scored.
That romantic time when you sat down with a coffee and a Kit Kat and took the piss out of
We were standing actually. There was no. We were in there. We were behind the goal.
I've got like vague recollections of it. I remember a Kit Kat. Solihull Moors.
It was delicious.
We
saw Mike Wiseman as well, didn't we?
Are you sure you just didn't take a different bold person, Matthew?
Could have been.
No, it's definitely Chris.
I vaguely remember. Vaguely.
Because I don't think I was going, and then you just invited me or something last minute. Did we? I'm sure we saw someone else there as well. I can't remember, but
was he any good?
He played on the wing, I think. I'm gonna have to Google this and see if I can find out. But I think he played on the wing, but he did play mostly on the wing for Doncaster from memory, which is why obviously wasn't very prolific there. It was when he moved into the centre for Cheltenham, but he scored started to score goals. Anyway, there's our Alfie May moment that you
that I don't remember.
Clearly didn't remember. It obviously meant nothing to you that game. So.
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. But then I remember useless shit like that.
I remember the Kit Kat. I do remember the Kit Kat. I remember a Kit Kat at Solihull Moors, so I was obviously there.
What do you remember about the Kit Kat?
Chocolate.
I took a break.
The tea was terrible, wasn't it?
Is that one thing we're actually going to be looking forward to in League One? A whole different standard of away game halftime food.
Probably. I remember. So it was quite disappointing that we're not going to Wickham, because when the Barry Fry era, me and my dad went to a lot of away games, and I think we won 3-0 away at Wickham that day. I want to say Peter Shearer definitely scored one of them, maybe even two. But I had a pie then. I was probably 14 years old. That, I've never had a hit like that from a pie since.
Fucking it was pie, not crack.
It was I don't know what they put in those pies in Wickham, Dave, but my God. And it's always stuck with me. We're talking like fucking...
What, it's still there?
It's like, I liked it that much. It's like 28, 29 years ago or something, and it's still stuck with me as an amazing pie that I had that day away at Wickham. Adams.
Fantastic. You want to go back? Just for
I
pie.
can't, because I'm here the week before, so
yeah,
never mind.
Should have come for a week.
So we'll move on to a nearly. Go on.
He's a very exciting signing for Blues fans, I think, as we haven't had that goal scorer for a few years. I think it's something that we can be hopeful.
I think
about having.
What it does is you can't guarantee obviously goals, obviously, but it's as good as guaranteeing a decent amount of goals for you in a team that's going to create quite a lot of chances, or we hope creates a lot of chances. People will point to his age and say it's a bit short term, but I mean, he's got a 3-year contract, but so what if it is short term? The short term goal is part of the long term goal, and the short term goal is to get out the fucking league. And by doing that, you need to score goals and win games. And we've just signed what we will consider the best striker in the league, or at least the best goal scoring record in the league for the last 3 seasons. I think a lot of people come around to it, because there were quite a few people that were a little bit dismayed by it.
Were people really? Because I genuinely...
Yeah, there's a few people moaning about age and stuff like that. There's a couple of people. I mean, even when we had the first conversation about it, you were like, I'm not sure it'll be the profile of player the club will be going for. Not that you were sort of dismissing him as a player, but just...
I didn't think that he'd be the type of player that we were in for. But then you made the point that he scores goals, it's fairly cheap. Like, ultimately, if we go and sign 2 more strikers now, you've still got him. It makes sense.
It also means we don't have to rush things and get pressured into signing another striker. So
you don't get held to ransom so much either, because it's like, yeah, we need another striker. We could do with one, but it's not like all your eggs in that one basket. Now it's like we've got someone, we're happy. So
I was, so I'm really pleased with it, and I think he's never played at the Championship level. If we get promoted, he's probably still going to be quite useful, and even if he's not, we can sell him to Huddersfield. So, so it's fine. Yeah. So I guess the other signing that we nearly made, didn't quite make, was Mike Erdhausen. I'll go for Erdhausen. I think that's right. I'm really disappointed. I didn't know who he was a week ago, and now I'm gutted.
I'm the same.
Big presence, physical, technically gifted. Like,
did you just miss my Santa joke then? Completely.
Big presence. Yeah, St Nick. St Nick. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping they kind of resurrect it. I'm getting the feeling, because obviously the Dutch media have said they couldn't agree on personal terms, but we said offline this stuff was probably agreed prior to him flying over, because why would you fly over, do the medical, etc.? The likelihood is that something has shown up in the medical, I think, and they've had to renegotiate.
There seems to be those two sort of sides of it.
But it's probably both or in the middle. Like,
I was going to say that there's rumours coming out from like Birmingham that he failed his medical, or that there was not failed his medical, but something showed up in his medical. Now, last season he spent the early part of the season out with a groin injury and missed about a third of the season. But then
nearly
came
half.
back.
It was 17 games,
half?
I think he missed. Yeah.
But then came back, played, and was fine. Now, we've had to shop for players with injuries and a bad injury past because we've had no choice. Or, well, the other choice was we don't get as good players. We're not in that situation now where we have to sign players with injuries. But if they found something in that medical and they've gone, yeah, he's got a dodgy groin, it's still the scar tissue or whatever's there, could be a problem. So we will still sign you because it seems fine, but we want these reassurances. We're not going to give you as high basic as we'd agreed, but there's going to be this as bonuses. Always a possibility that's because of the medical issue, that the wages and the personal terms have changed. So the story coming out from the Netherlands is that personal terms were an issue. So it probably is sort of somewhere in between those two, the two sides, the two rooms, or it could just be nothing. It could be, who knows? Unless you're in that room and you know what's going on, you're guessing.
I kind of hope they find a way to resurrect it. I'm gonna be honest. I got married to the idea of him coming in. A big left-footed, technical centre back was just like, I was going to bed dreaming about that. So if they can't get it done, I really
you've
hope
lined the pillows up on the bed now that your missus is away.
This is what happens when you're on your own for too long.
This is it. Yeah,
giving him a 2-metre cuddle to the pillows.
This is it. It's broken my heart. But I mean, what it does show is that the club are going out there looking for a big physical defender that can play football. Obviously play football, but play the brand of football we want to do.
So we've got a big defender, but he actually plays tennis instead.
I did see there was an article. I think I sent it to you. Was it one of the EFL fanzine type things that referred to him as the perfect replacement for Mark Roberts, which I found quite amusing. I can't remember what site it was.
Barnsley's Mark Roberts.
Yeah. Is that because Mark Roberts always looks like he's playing football in clogs, or I don't. It just made me chuckle because like they have. I mean, I don't know that much about Erdhausen, but I think from a technical point of view, they are poles apart in the way they play football.
I was wondering whether you were making a joke about Poland and being in between Barnsley and the Netherlands, even though the Netherlands is close. It didn't work unless you go that way around the world. Anyway, let's move on. It was a disappointing one for me as well. It's left-footed, which we know has been a problem over the last few years. Height, which we know is going to be important this season. Because, like you said, there's going to be teams that are just lumping the ball in the box. So we need players with the presence. He just seemed to fit the bill of being big, playing out from the back, young, left-footed. He sort of ticked those boxes, and it was just disappointing to then find out. I mean, we were expecting it to be announced today.
Yeah.
We thought that it was getting all done. Finished yesterday, so
we had somebody lined up from Holland to come on and talk about him, and then I just had a quick look at their website whilst we were talking because they played tonight. They had a friendly where they won 8-0. Just to have a look to see if he was on the bench or anything, but he wasn't, because I'd seen someone say, "Oh, he's back in their squad for tonight," but from their report, I can't see his name mentioned. It's possible we could still resurrect it. I mean, I hope we do, but if the club have made that decision to move on, we've had a lot of
them.
injuries. Yeah,
Exactly. The injury thing. If we've got spooked by something, we're not in the market where we have to gamble on injury-prone players anymore, or players with injury issues. So as good as it might have been, as or seemed, if there is a risk there, don't take it. We don't need to.
Significant amount of money for a centre back in League One as well, isn't it? So it would have been a bit of a statement.
Yeah.
I think there might be a few of those a few statements throughout the season.
Yeah, I think they want to, don't they? They want to, and because if anything as well, that's going to attract other players and show the true ambition.
The way things are shaping up, for me, it feels like we're going to have a better team in League One than we had in the Championship. Which I guess that's what they want to try and do anyway, because they want to build for a championship ready team. But there's a few other rumours of little things that have come out in the media last couple of days. Was the Mark Leonard thing has raised its head again and said that we're closing in on a £450,000 deal, which is strange because I thought his release clause was less than that. Don't think that's necessarily true. There's definitely interest there, but
not as close as it was being made out the other day.
Even close. I think he's on holiday, Mark Leonard. Not that makes a difference because you can fly in pretty quickly these days for that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's got a lot of teams after him: Championship, League One, MLS, further afield as well. So he's probably got a big decision to make. He's a young lad, and we've spoke about him briefly. Obviously, had two very good seasons for Northampton. He would be ideal, I think, for us. But you can't wait around too long for someone to make up their mind, can you? So I guess there's going to be other targets that they probably look at.
He's probably one of the more exciting sort of options that have been mentioned as well. And
for that price.
Yeah. But it's one of those things, like you say, you can't wait around for it. If it doesn't happen, you go after others.
And we will need a centre midfielder. I think we proved when Tony Mowbray was in charge that the addition of having technically gifted centre midfielders makes a huge difference to the way you move the ball. And Chris Davies has already said himself that, obviously he was a centre midfielder himself before he had to retire, that it's a key part of for any formation he's going to play. Like, you need someone to be able to dictate the play, etc. So hopefully we do get him, but if we don't, there's plenty of other technically gifted midfielders, one of which won't be Anthony Evans.
Yeah, I was going to say a nameless other Blues channel claimed the exclusive of we're hijacking Huddersfield bid for him. That's not true.
No.
We're not in for him, so let's move on.
Was there any other rumours that we've been knocking around this week? Goldson Connor Goldson at Rangers.
Yes, you sent that through yesterday.
So another big, robust, physical centre-back. I remember him playing against us for Brighton, and I think he scored. It might be when Chris Hooton was maybe their manager. I'm not sure. Decent enough player, I think. He's obviously had a few injuries this season. He was an ever-present for Rangers for quite a long time. You'd expect him to be able to cope fairly well and be fairly dominant in League One. There's a belief that he's on quite a lot of money up there. Quite a lot of money in the SPL is still a lot of money, but it's not as much as probably most people think. There's a £30,000 ban being bandied around. I'm not sure that's necessarily true. He certainly won't be getting that in League One, even from Tommy Wagner's back pocket. So, but it's good to see that we are looking at these more physical types of defenders, because who can also play on the deck.
A mix.
Any more? Ryan Longman was the other one, wasn't it? At Hull, who was on loan at Millwall last season.
Yeah,
came through. He probably knows Mark Leonard, because I bet they probably came through the system at Brighton together. Good player, very good in League One. I remember him playing pretty well for, I want to say, MK Dons. So if I'm wrong, I apologise. The right sort of profile of player again. So keen to see if anything happens there. I think Hull want quite a lot of money for him. Say quite a lot. Not for us, we're rich. 1.5 million or something I think they're looking for him. So
1.5 billion.
1.5 billion. So we'll
not
see.
for him, just in total.
Yeah, that's how much we're spending this transfer window, isn't it? Yeah, fuck FFP or whatever it's called now. The South China Morning Post. The SCMP, I think they call it in League One. I swear, whenever I see it, I think of the South China Morning Post because of all the stuff that Daniel Almir used to show me and stuff. So, anything else on signings or potential transfer rumours? You look like
there's nothing that I can think of. You see, my issue this week has been that I've been so busy, or the last couple of weeks that I've been so busy that then people message and there's this constant thing, and it's like then you try and verify it and you check it, and I don't get a chance to see the rumours. They sort of come in second and third hand, and I don't get to process them. But there's nothing that I can think of. Nothing else.
No.
The only other one was the not Dutch tall striker. I'm not sure whether we mentioned about.
I think he scored today. I saw his name mentioned a couple of times on their Twitter feed, so I'm assuming he scored a goal.
And we spoke about it earlier and said, we wonder whether they were actually thinking of the big Dutch centre-back rather than the non-Dutch striker.
I think, again...
They're both about 2 metres tall, aren't they?
Both big physical threats. And again, I think Lauritsen, there was obviously more footage of him available because he's a striker and there normally is, but he doesn't look like your typical 6'5" striker. He looks quite good with his feet. He's quite mobile. You wouldn't say he was fast, but he's quick for his size. Good feet for a big man. Dominant in the air, lays off the ball quite nicely. He reminded me of, I think I said to you guys already, Andre Flo. There was there's a little bit of reminiscence of like him cutting inside from the left and just like slotting a ball in. It just reminded me of Andre Flo at Chelsea. Quite like the look of him, but I mean they're talking 5 million and they'll probably get it. But whether or not we'd pay that, we might do. But I think he's going to have a lot of options, I'd imagine. And the Dutch league is a funny league. Certainly with strikers, you just don't know what you're going to get with them either.
No. It's and like you say, an unknown. I can't think of anything else, anyone else that's been talked about. There probably has. There's probably been loads because I think we're probably going to be.
It's all started to filter out now, isn't it? Because apparently there's no leaks. So there's all these rumours going from places.
Just make things up instead.
Before we do sign off, I just want to mention the BCFC Foundation. So, I think tomorrow, or if this goes out in time, it might not. So Thursday and Friday this week, the foundation are doing an 84-mile walk, or better known as the Hadrian's Wall Challenge. So I think it's 8 of them, 8 foundation staff and a few OSC members are going to walk from Carlisle to Newcastle, aim to do it in under 48 hours. And they're looking to raise £40,000 to provide opportunities for inner city children in Birmingham. Now, you can donate via text. So if you text KRO, any ideas what that might mean? What might stand for?
If I say it, then we have to end the podcast. So
okay, well, we'll maybe say it at the end.
Say it at the end.
Yeah, so if you text KRO to 70560, and you can donate that way. It's a standard donation of £5. There's more information at foundation@bcfc.com, or for more information, go to foundation@bcfc.com. I think that's an email address. It is. So I don't know. Maybe you have to ask them for more information. I'm just reading this out, basically. Yeah, so if people can donate money to that would be good. Help them hit their £40,000 target.
And finally, just before we go, I just want to wish my mate Titch a very happy birthday. He was 40 the other day, and I've known him since since I can remember. A couple of his people at his party came up to me and said that they listen to the podcast as well and that they love it. So that was really nice. But yeah, Titch, happy birthday, mate, and keep right on.
Happy birthday. Keep right on.
And until next time, we might as well finish it there. We'll be back when there's some news, something to talk about. Maybe next week, because I think there's going to be the next few days are going to be quite busy, I think. So we'll be back, and until next time, keep right on.
Keep right on.
Keep right on.